So you're thinking about picking up Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Maybe you're wondering if it's worth it.
Yeah.
If it's a good read.
Right.
Especially if you're new to fantasy.
Yeah.
Or even if you're like a seasoned reader and you're wondering if it's worth revisiting.
Sure.
Well, we are here today to give you all the information you need to make that decision.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about the writing style. We're going to be talking about the plot.
Oh.
We're even going to be comparing it to some other fantasy favorites.
Oh, right.
So that you can decide for yourself if this book deserves a spot on your reading list.
Well, I can tell you as a literary critic who has a soft spot for fantasy.
Yeah.
Chamber of Secrets is a genuinely enjoyable read. Yeah. I think it's especially great for those who are kind of dipping their toes into fantasy for the first time.
So you're saying it's like a good entry point into the genre?
Definitely. Or even if you just want like a quick immersive read.
Okay, so you're saying it's like a fast-paced read.
Yeah.
But does that mean that it skims on the depth a little bit?
Not at all.
Okay.
I think that the later books in the series definitely go into more complex territory.
Because it is, like you said, the second book in a pretty big series.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I think that Chamber of Secrets does a brilliant job at kind of laying the groundwork. So it keeps you hooked with action and suspense. But at the same time, it's subtly weaving in these elements that become really crucial later on.
Okay, so give me an example.
Sure.
Convince me that this isn't all just surface level fun.
So take Tom Riddle's diary.
Okay.
On the surface, it's just this creepy old book that Harry finds.
Right.
But it introduces this concept of Horcruxes, which are these objects that contain pieces of Voldemort's soul.
Okay.
And this ends up being the central explanation for his immortality. Yeah. And it really becomes central to the entire series.
So it's like planting these seeds that will blossom later on. Very sneaky.
Right.
I like that.
And then there's Harry's ability to speak Parseltongue.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just a cool party trick.
Right.
It really sets him apart, even in the magical world.
Yeah.
And it links him to Voldemort in a way that's both fascinating and unsettling.
Yeah.
You know? It makes you wonder, what else don't we know about Harry?
Right.
You know? It's
what else is he hiding?
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of unsettling, how do we address the gobby in the room? You know, I know a lot of readers find him kind of annoying.
I get it.
Yeah.
Dobby can be a bit much with his over-the-top, attempts to save Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Those seemingly irritating qualities, they're actually deliberate.
Okay.
And they end up making his eventual sacrifice. Oh, wow.
Later in the series, all the more powerful.
Okay.
So he goes from this bumbling, meddling creature to a truly courageous figure.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all about setting up that contrast.
Yeah, exactly.
And highlighting that growth. You mentioned it being a good entry point for fantasy newbies. But what about for us grown-up readers?
Sure.
Would we still find it engaging?
Yeah.
I know some adults are kind of hesitant to pick up a book that's considered young adult.
Of course. I can honestly say that rereading Chamber of Secrets as an adult is a completely different experience.
Okay.
You know, you pick up on all these subtle details that you might have missed as a kid.
Right.
And honestly, the humor holds up incredibly well.
Okay.
Characters like Gilderoy Lockhart and the Weasley twins.
Oh, yeah.
Their antics are timeless.
Okay. Humor is always a plus.
Right.
But how would you compare it to a classic fantasy novel?
Like, say, The Hobbit?
Sure.
Would you say it's in the same league?
You know, I think that Chamber of Secrets may not have the sprawling world building of Tolkien's epic.
Right.
But I think that it offers something different.
Okay.
You know, it shines in its relatable characters and these timeless themes of friendship, courage, and self-discovery.
Right.
So just like Bilbo leaving the Shire, Harry is thrust into this extraordinary world, and they both find strength in these kind of chosen families.
It's that classic hero's journey.
Exactly.
But with a magical twist.
Yeah.
So it's like that familiar, hero's journey, but in this magical, fantasy world.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the writing style earlier.
Right.
What can Chamber of Secrets offer those of us who are interested in the craft of writing?
Well, I think that Rowling is a master at kind of blending action, humor, and mystery.
Yeah.
She uses techniques like cliffhangers and foreshadowing to keep you on the edge of your seat.
Right.
Like, for example, that mysterious voice that Harry keeps hearing throughout the book creates this really eerie atmosphere.
Okay.
And it builds this suspense.
Right.
So you're like desperate to know where it's coming from.
I remember that feeling of dread.
Right.
It's been a while since I read it. But those like little details like really stick with you.
Totally.
Okay, but we're talking about a book that was published
right.
over 2 decades ago. Does Chamber of Secrets still hold up?
Absolutely.
In today's world?
I think so.
Like, kids these days have so many entertainment options.
Of course, but those core themes of friendship, of courage, of facing your fears, those are timeless and they're universal.
Yeah.
Kids today still deal with bullies. They struggle to fit in. They yearn for adventure.
Yeah.
Chamber of Secrets speaks to those experiences. Right.
Regardless of when you read it.
So it's more than just like a fun escape with magical creatures.
Definitely. The magic is definitely a huge part of the appeal.
Right.
But I think at its heart, Chamber of Secrets is about human connection. And the power of believing in yourself, even when things get tough. Right. And I think that's something that everyone can relate to.
Yeah, no matter their age.
Exactly.
Now, I'm picturing some listeners out there thinking like, I've already seen the movie.
Right.
Why bother reading the book?
Yeah.
What'd you say to them?
Well, I think that the movie captures some of the magic.
Okay.
But the book is a completely different experience. It's like comparing a postcard to actually visiting a place.
Right.
The characters are just more fleshed out. The plot is more intricate.
Okay.
There are entire subplots and details that the movie just couldn't fit in.
So give me an example. Sure. Like, for instance, the whole backstory of how the chamber was created.
Okay.
And Salazar Slytherin's prejudice against Muggle-born students.
Right.
That's explored in much greater detail in the book. And it really adds another layer to the story.
So like reading the book is like getting the director's cut.
Right.
You get the full experience.
Exactly.
So for those who have read Chamber of Secrets, what should they be looking for on a reread?
Okay.
Like, are there any hidden gems or details that they might have missed the first time around?
I think you should pay attention to Ginny Weasley.
Okay.
She might seem like a background character.
Right.
But her kind of quiet strength and her connection to Tom Riddle's diary are way more significant than they first appear.
Okay.
And it really foreshadows her bravery and resilience later in the series.
Interesting.
And also, I think you should keep an eye out for any mentions of the Room of Requirement. There are these subtle hints about its existence that become a major plot point later on.
It's like those Easter eggs in movies.
Exactly.
Just waiting to be discovered.
Right.
So we've established that Chamber of Secrets is well-paced. It's humorous.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly nuanced.
Right.
And it holds up even decades later.
Yeah.
But let's touch on something that you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Separating the art from the artist.
Right.
Some listeners may feel conflicted about enjoying the book, given the controversies surrounding J.K. Rowling.
That's understandable. Yeah. It's a complex situation, and I encourage everyone to kind of form their own opinions. Remember, engaging with art is always a choice.
Yeah.
And if Chamber of Secrets doesn't feel right for you right now, that's perfectly valid.
It's all about, like, what resonates with you.
Exactly.
Personally. So let's recap.
Okay.
We've learned that Chamber of Secrets is entertaining.
Right. Engaging. Yeah. It skillfully blends action, humor, and mystery. It subtly sets the stage for the larger series, introducing those key concepts and characters. Yeah. We've discussed its relevance to modern readers. We compared it to other classic fantasy novels. Right. And we even uncovered some hidden gems for those who want to reread it with fresh eyes. And we've acknowledged those concerns about the author, encouraging listeners to make informed choices.
It's all about being mindful.
Right.
And making choices that align with your values.
Exactly. So with all of that said, are you ready to deliver your final verdict?
Sure.
Is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets worth adding to your reading list?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a captivating blend of magic, mystery, and humor.
Uh-huh.
And it's a wonderful entry point into the world of Harry Potter.
Okay.
Whether you're new to fantasy or a seasoned Potterhead, Chamber of Secrets offers a truly engaging reading experience. I love that you've painted a really vivid picture of what makes this book special.
Yeah.
And now it's up to you, dear listener, to decide if this magical journey is one that you're ready to take. Well, I think you've given our listeners a lot to think about.
Sure.
But before we wrap up, I'd love to leave them with a question to ponder. You mentioned earlier that Tom Riddle's diary was more than just a creepy old book.
Yes.
It was like
It was a Horcrux.
Right, a Horcrux.
And through it, he was able to manipulate Ginny, influencing her thoughts and actions to further his own dark agenda.
That's a chilling thought.
It is.
That an ordinary object could hold so much darkness and have such a powerful influence.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about the nature of evil, doesn't it?
It really does.
Like if even a seemingly harmless diary can be imbued with that kind of darkness. What does that tell us about evil itself?
Right.
Is it something tangible? Something that can be like contained and passed on? Or is it a more insidious force, something that can like take root in any of us under the right circumstances?
Exactly.
That's a profound question.
It is a big one.
Makes you think about the choices we make, the influences we allow into our lives, and how easily any of us could be swayed toward darkness.
It's true, and I think that's the power of stories like Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. They really challenge us to grapple with these complex questions, to kind of explore those gray areas of morality, and to really acknowledge that potential for both darkness and light within ourselves.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on.
Oh, good.
We covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Exploring the writing, the characters, the themes, and even the controversies surrounding Chamber of Secrets.
We really dug deep.
We did. We looked at its relevance for modern readers. We compared it to other classic fantasy novels. And we even uncovered some hidden gems. For those who want to reread it. With fresh eyes.
Absolutely.
Hopefully this deep dive has given you, dear listener,
I hope so,
everything you need to decide if Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets deserves a spot on your reading list. And if you do embark on this magical journey, we encourage you to join us for future deep dives. As we explore the rest of the Harry Potter series.
Absolutely.
Happy reading.